Hello, everybody, and welcome to Attacking the Darkness, Episode 2. Last time we left off in the series, guys, y'all had just finished killing, let me step it back a little bit further than that. Y'all had appeared out of thin air and landed in the middle of a street. And during that time, after a little altercation and a little bit of assault for a child...
Sorry.
Y'all found out that the proper direction for where the awning portal was, and began to head that way, or actually waited until Volo had come and met y'all. Y'all had a quick discussion about a little bit while you were there, but he invited you back to the tavern. As y'all went back to the tavern and sat down to discuss in full exactly what and why and how things have happened here, a brawl broke out in the bar. And with One Punch Grim here ending the fight with a knockout blast to the face by intervening, he did nobody any favors at that point in time, and luckily wasn't thrown out of the bar. Everybody else was, fortunately, because they had started it. Sitting back down at the table, a troll crawled his ugly butt out of the middle of the yawning portal, and a fight broke out. And after some masterful first attacks, but unfortunately some slow and lackluster follow-ups, the troll...
One of them died of a heart attack, if I recall.
Well,
Yeah.
the troll eventually was soundly put away, and Nephmarax with his black orb almost looked like he killed a flying
Squirrel.
not a flying
I forget what they're called. Scorn.
Scourge?
Scrag. Scratch. Scarab.
Thanks.
Surge?
Sturge. That's what it was.
A flying sturge. Made it look like he killed it instantly, but in all reality, it just died of a heart attack because, ones are a thing in the game. So, after that display of strength and exuberance from your group, Volo comes running back over from across the bar, screaming that he knew it. And that's where we bring into this episode of Attacking the Darkness.
Cue intro music.
We have no intro music right now.
There it was.
I'll work on it.
It's just gonna be the full house theme.
No.
Brady Bunch.
No.
No! We already have a number of things here anyway. We don't need copyright strikes. So, you'll have to pardon me. My voice is a little rough.
Same.
But, Volo comes running from across the bar, screaming at the top of his lungs toward y'all. I knew it! I knew it! Spilling beer all over himself and ale and other various drinks and water. And he slams the tankards on the table and begins pushing them all around to each of your own person. Water, making sure, got to Nephmarax. As Volo does remember things. He looks at y'all with a big grin on his face. He said, I knew y'all were the adventurers that I was needing for this. You see, I've had a bit of trouble here recently. Folks tend to not listen to me as much as I want to these days. And on my adventures, while I was out in the mountains, I came across a wondrous scroll. It was a scroll of summoning, and it let me summon whatever I shall wish. So I wished for some adventurers to help me with my issue. And don't worry, I will pay you. But that's where you all come in. He said, I was out in the middle of the town square, and I wished and then waited and waited and waited and waited, and it took a while. That's why I paid the little boy to stand there and wait for me because I got tired of waiting. So, I need your help. And in all reality, y'all should be able to handle this for me, I hope. I will pay you in advance. Here is a down payment right now. And what he does is he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a bag. He pulls out individual bags of gold coins. And inside each bag is 10 gold pieces. And he slides a bag over to each of you and said, here is the down payment on for the mission. He said, but I can give you 10 times this on a successful return.
Go on.
Okay, so he says, my friend has gone missing. He said, my friend's name is Floon Blagmar. He's got more beauty than brains, and I worry he took a bad way home a couple of nights ago and was kidnapped, or worse. Said if you agree to track him down, and with all due haste, again, I will offer you, and instead of gold coins, I say gold coins just because it's easy. He refers to them as dragons, and if any of you have had time in Waterdeep in your previous life, you know that in Waterdeep, 1, dragonborns are an enormous rarity, and 2, gold coins are called dragons. So he's like, I will offer you 10 dragons, and with the 10 times that, if you find Floon, what do you say? Will you help me?
I have a question
Okay.
about Floon and his current status. He's missing,
Correct.
and you're looking for him.
Yes, and I needed help.
Do we get full payment whether he's dead or alive? Because what if we find him and he's already been slain? Do you want us to bring him back to you?
We'll do that.
Well, as long as y'all aren't the ones who killed him, I will pay. I will pay for him, whether he has or he has been killed or not. I worry about him greatly. So if you come back and tell me and bring him back to me as slain, I will grieve, but I will pay full for the full.
There's a good chance we won't kill him.
What importance is he to you?
Floon is an old friend of mine. We've known each other for so many years now, and I see. Like I said, he doesn't make the best of choices in life sometimes.
Okay, what can you tell us about Floon? Or Flume? How do you spell his name?
Floon, Floon, Blagmar, Blagmar.
And I'm guessing by his name he's not a human.
He is a human male.
Oh, what an awful name.
Does he have any distinguishing characteristics so that we could determine if someone was trying to impersonate this person?
He is, he's in his early 30s. He has wavy red blonde hair. He was dressed in princely garb last time I saw him 2 nights ago. We were drinking at the Skewered Dragon. It's a dark and body tavern over by the dock ward. It would probably be your best place to start your search.
Said skewered what?
Dragon.
Skewered Dragon.
You know who he might have had trouble with?
Well, I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit to this, but it may have been me that got him in trouble.
You killed him.
I did not kill him.
Okay.
Went
So
missing.
you lead your own friend to danger. but then you summon strangers to do the same.
Okay, look. We met a couple of nights ago out at the Skewered Dragon. We drank and gambled for a while we were there. But then I had left. I didn't take him with me. I left him at the bar because he wanted to continue to carouse.
So what kind of trouble do you think you may have gotten Floon into?
Well, it's the less savory side of town. Plus, on top of that, we were gambling. So, again, he doesn't have all the brains in the world here.
Who are you gambling with?
Just folk, people of the patrons of the bar.
Anybody
is-
of notoriety that we need to know be aware of?
No, not that I know of. It was just, like I said, it was just everybody. It was other patrons of the bar who were there drunk. We do not know them. We were just trying to take their coin and have a good time at the same time.
Prior to you leaving, were you and he more than successful in your gambling endeavors?
Not really. I made enough coin to where I could put the down payment and the full payment of this adventure together for y'all.
I was about to say.
I
Could've fooled me.
had enough coin. I have enough coin for that, and also, I'm also a successful writer. If you haven't read my book, so
Hmm.
him, he wasn't. He was more or less breaking even.
Well, I'll say this to the rest of the rest of the group sitting at the table here. I don't know about you fellows, but I'm not exactly swimming in coin at the moment. So
Nor I.
I'm interested.
I've got nothing better to do.
Grim nods. Sounds like it could be an exciting adventure to write down. I'm in.
If it's to protect someone, I have nowhere else to go. So and I
Excellent.
could use the coin as well. So
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And again, I've already given you your 10 gold 4 bags, and I told you the Skewered Dragon is the best place to start your search for him. I will. He starts coughing for a minute. I will stay here at the Yawning Portal, and I will await your return for any news on Floon.
okay.
I'm gonna look over at the shifter sitting on the other side of the table from me.
Okay.
Are you coming with us?
I'll come along.
You could be useful.
Grim claps the shifter on the back and says, "Excellent! We fought very well together. I'm excited to see what more antics we can get up to."
Yes, y'all seem quite capable.
Quick question, Volo.
Yes.
What direction would we be headed toward this Skewered Dragon,
Dockward.
which is from here?
That
way.
Going to the dock ward is southwest.
Great.
Might you
Okay.
happen to have a map we could use?
I do not have a map of the city, so you may have to ask a few folk on the way to point you in the right direction.
I ask everyone I meet on the way.
Are,
I was
are we leaving?
I feel sorry for all the people that you ask on the way. You're gonna ask everybody.
Everyone.
Where is the dock ward?
Well then,
I was
Yo.
gonna say when everybody was like complimenting each other, I was gonna look over at Nephrites and be like, I was quite impressed by how you killed that Sturge with your with your orb thing that I saw. was quite impressed at how fast he went.
This is a skill that my patron has bestowed upon me.
I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Alright.
I should have rolled a medicine check on that bird.
Insight check.
Grim will turn to Zamul and say, "So, we should avoid asking any kids for directions along the way."
Maybe, perhaps just not so forcefully.
Abigail gets a kind of an angry look on her face and then looks at both Grim and Zamul and is like,
Granite just stands up and walks towards the tavern door.
I'll follow.
Volo stands up from the table and says, "Good luck. Please come back with good news." And he turns and heads towards the bar and takes a seat at the bar.
I drank Nephromax's water because he didn't touch it.
What made you think I didn't touch it?
I don't know. It looked full.
You see, Nephromax,
Nobody said they were drinking.
You see Zamul reach across the table and grab your water and start pulling it towards him.
I snatch it back.
Water spills around on the table and he takes it back from you.
Fine then. I get up and leave.
Okay, so what's the party going to do?
I guess we're following the shifter out.
I'm gonna start heading in the direction of the dock ward.
Where's the closest kid?
Oh my god.
That sounds so fucking terrible.
So that way I can avoid them.
That's what any terrible predator would say. Where are the children outside? Don't go over there.
Not allowed within 500 yards.
Well, you're also
We're
kind of a
making our way
kid.
south.
I am.
Yeah.
You guys don't know that, but I am.
While en route, I will. At a certain point, I'll mosey over to some random adult. Let me specify
Okay.
Old women either.
that looks relatively kept together, like a middle class citizen, and ask them, "Is this the direction to the dock wards?" and point to what I believe to be southwest.
Roll an investigation check,
Oh goodness!
because I'm going to make you find a person first.
Ah, gotcha. That is a natural 19. Plus what? Investigation plus 2, 21.
21. All right. You walk up, and on the corner of across from the yawning portal is the City Watch guard,
Yeah,
and you
that'll
approach.
work.
You approach the City Watch guard, and you ask him. You asked him basically which way is the dock ward? Is it southwest? The city guard turns to you and says, "Ah, yes. Hold on 1 second. Let me grab my map." And he pulls out a map in front of him, and he unfolds it, and he looks at it. He goes, "Ah, yes, Dark Ward. Yes, that is definitely southwest. Is there a specific location that you're looking for?"
I'm actually looking for the Skewered Dragon.
Ah, hold on 1 second. Yes, okay, I can tell you exactly where that is. The tavern is between Net Street and Fillet Lane in the Dock Ward. So that is where you will definitely need to go. If you follow this road south for about, I would say, 7 or 8 blocks, then turn right and follow it another 4. You will run into Fillet Lane. Follow Fillet Lane down south for a little bit, and you will run into Net Street, and then you will see right there where the Skewered Dragon is.
Okay, do I can easily remember my character can easily remember these directions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'll let sorry, I forget your name. Granite?
Mhm.
I'll walk back over to I'll be like, "Thank you, sir," and then I'll walk back over to
You're
Granite,
welcome.
explain the directions to him, and then we'll progress.
I'll just make a comment that I'm Abigail is not a fan of the name Steward Dragon.
Sounds
The
kinda
deities have
tasty.
noted.
Give a angry look at Grim.
What? Did I say something wrong?
She just doesn't like you for accosting that kid
Oh,
and for hitting on her for no reason.
I'm suddenly craving some turtle soup.
I could go for some turtle soup.
Okay.
All right.
We
So-
follow the directions.
Follow the directions.
Yes.
Okay. So as y'all travel towards the dock ward, you a couple of streets down, you come to a bloody aftermath from a clash. Looks like a clash between the Xanthar Guild and the Zentharium. You find yourself on a street that has been cordoned off by the city watch. Lying on the cobblestones are a half-dozen corpse, seemingly the victims of some terrible skirmish. Watch officers have disarmed and arrested 3 blood-drenched humans and are in the midst of questioning witnesses. One of the officers see you. Get on, she said. Oh, pardon me. I can't do high. Get on, she says. Nothing to see here. What do you do?
Okay. I get on.
Just walks away.
Okay.
Simple enough.
So do you all continue?
Is there, as we're walking by, is there anything of particular note that stands out at the crime scene?
I tell you what. Roll a.
What kind?
Oh, hold on. I'm thinking. Roll a perception check.
Perception?
Yeah.
That is a 21.
21, nice. You look at the grisly scene, and this is like a brutal murder. I mean, there are literally chopped bodies around the place, and as you're looking at this, you kind of start getting the impression that there's gangs, the rival gangs that are inside Waterdeep don't quite get along really well, and it's at any time if you may cross upon a gang war or something like this, it's bloodshed is sure to be had. There's probably no talking your way out of this. So,
Who is this between?
this is between from here it was between the Xanthar Guild and the Zentharium. Or Zentarium, I'm sorry. The Zentarim. Ugh.
I've spelled that 4 different ways now.
I know I can't pronounce it here. It's
You said Xanthar Guild?
Xanthar Guild
Zentharium.
and Zentarum. Zentarim. Zentarum.
And what is Xanthar? Xanthar?
Yeah.
Zentharium.
Great.
And you called them guilds, not gangs, right?
Xanthar Guild and Zentarum. Yeah, there's
just-
there's a number of here I'll tell you what. Roll a wisdom check.
Was the, just an overall wisdom?
Roll if you have any proficiency in history, add history as well.
I do not have a proficiency in history, so it would just be
Okay, then just your wisdom. Plus your modifier.
21.
21. Okay. You remember that there are a number of guilds in Waterdeep that all have have been fighting for a number of years over a mythical treasure that may or may not exist, and bloodshed has always been a part of this issue between these gangs.
Would I happen to know what that mythical treasure may or may not be?
What the locals refer to is a stockpile of dragons, gold coins. You've heard stories, but they've always been old wives' tales and children bedtime stories.
I hope it's a pile of literal dragons. We found it. Oh
Eat my
shit!
Can we see any of the slain?
I mean, yeah, you can see the people that are slain there.
Oh,
Are any of the? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'd like to ask the guard if they've seen perhaps our missing friend among the dead.
Yes.
I give him a brief description.
The guard turns and looks at you and says, I thought I told you to go. There's nothing to see here.
I see bodies, and I need to see these bodies.
What do you need?
I need to know if this man here is dead.
Who are you looking for?
He's got a terrible name.
Loon Blagmar.
This man, yeah, Floon Blagmar.
Well, was he known to be part of the guild for Xanthar Guild or Zentarum?
At the time, we didn't think to ask.
Well, that's your problem. Move along.
I want to look at these bodies.
You can look at them.
I want to look closely at them.
Roll a perception check.
Oh, can I just walk among the dead?
Well, you're not going to walk among it. They've got it cordoned off, but you can look from a distance.
I'll look.
Can I go up to the guard as he's trying to look to distract him?
Okay.
Does it give me advantage?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. All right, you're going to distract the guard. You're going to just walk up to the barricade and look?
Oh, yeah, I want to get as close as I can.
Okay, all right. Then roll a perception with advantage.
Okay.
And Cody, I want you to roll a charisma check.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
That is an 8.
All right. The guard looks at you, Cody. I'm sorry, Grim. The guard looks at you while Zamul, you slip around to the side to take a look at the bodies. Grim, you successfully have grabbed the guard's attention, but it's not the attention that you wanted. The guard leans over and grabs the front of your shell and pulls you in close and says, "Get the hell out of here, or I'll throw you in the stocks," and pushes you back.
Hey.
I rolled a 13.
You rolled a 13.
Yeah.
You lean over and you start looking, and you look around. You don't really see from this distance kind of anybody that's matching the description of Floon that you were given. All these people are wearing similar cloaks and clothes, dark as if they were part of a guild.
Okay.
So
Gang colors.
pretty much.
All right.
As the guard pushes me, if I can, I would like to have myself trip and land on my back on my shell.
Okay, roll a performance check.
Thank God you didn't attack. I felt I'm gonna counterattack. I was like, oh no.
That would be a 6 to fall on my back on my shell.
Our rolls suck.
You fall backwards and fall, but not in a very convincing way. The guard stares at you and says, "Problems?"
He's a poor turtle. He struggles on his back. I help him up as I walk away.
Thank you, Zamul.
Zamul-
Yes, in fact, I do have a problem with your ugly face, and then I run away.
He is but a child.
Okay.
And I shoo him away.
I'm glad I'm following behind bringing it in Nephrax at this moment.
Oh
I'm
God.
at a distance just watching this happen.
Oh
Yeah.
no. He's rolling dice. There's a look of concentration.
Yeah, I started off rolling well. I rolled 2 15s in a row.
The guard,
Then I rolled-
as you stand up and accepted a hand from Zamul and pulled up, and you begin to run away.
Yeah, after I was pulled up to my feet,
Attack of
I-
opportunity.
I
Sorry, go ahead.
answered his question and then ran away.
You left
Again-
combat range.
Okay, so you begin to run away. The guard turns and looks at you and says, "If I see your turtly ass over here again, I will throw you in the stocks. Guaranteed. Don't let me see you on the streets ever again."
Don't worry, you won't see me.
I club the turtle.
And the guard begins to turn to the other guards that were in there and begins. Is anybody within 15 foot of that guard still?
I guess I would be because I'm only walking away.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say no, not me.
Okay, so all y'all are kind of Zamul, you hear the guards say, "We'll have to keep an eye out for a turtle. Be sure to tell all the guards around the city now. We seem to have a troublemaker, and this one is probably going to be difficult."
I just put a bolo out.
So you hear that as you begin to walk away.
He deserves it.
And you continue on, and the guard, after the guard finishes the sentence, it turns around back to pay attention to the scene of the murders that had happened, and with everybody who had been tied up there. Zamul, you seem to get the hint that the guards are now going to be watching the turtle and your group really close now, as time progresses and word spreads throughout the city.
Okay, I tell Grim to mind your tongue, little one. Swift words will guarantee quick action.
I'll give him some quick action if he's not careful.
Then I punch him.
It's
Roll
a
an
female
attack.
guard, but okay.
Is that unarmed attack?
Yeah, it's an unarmed attack.
Oh God!
Just
I
roll your
hope so.
d20 and add your strength.
18.
18.
What is even going on?
I'll just give him a
Did
little
I-
punch.
It's a
By the-
it's a punch.
Yeah, that would actually beat my AC. Did I get a chance to expend some hit dice over the conversation with Volo, by the way?
Yeah, you took a full rest while you were. Well,
Yeah, full
while you were
short
in there,
rest.
you're a short rest, but yeah, you had an opportunity to do your hit dice.
Okay, I'm gonna do that then.
They get your hit dice back before I punch you.
Okay, so yeah. So, Grim, as you continue to smart off and mouth, Zamul takes a gauntleted backhand and slaps the ever-loving shit out of the back of your head and expends his words of wisdom to you. You don't take any damage unless Zamul is attempting to do damage. No, but you
Try to
do.
get him to smarten up.
You do take the hit across the back of the head.
Otherwise, it would have been 2 damage.
I'm gonna look at Granite and go, "This is a great way to start a group."
Physical abuse.
I've shook my head more times in the time that I've known y'all than I have my entire life.
All right.
Oh, good. I healed 3.
Oh, okay. So you're at 6 HP now.
Yes, and I have exhausted all my hit dice.
All right.
How many hit dice do you have?
You start off with 1 hit die at level 1.
Oh.
What was your wisdom again there, Lucid?
17.
No, I mean, what did you say to me? Your wisdom.
Oh. Quick words guarantees swift action, and then he smarted off and I hit you. Are you taking notes?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
writing- you see Grim.
What?
You see Grim sit down in the middle of the street. Go ahead.
Quick words guarantee swift action.
Guarantee.
Okay, so you see Grim now sit down in the middle of the street, and he opens up his book and he begins writing down all of this in detail for what had just transpired. And after he's finished writing, he stands back up. And
As we rejoin the group, I will tell them that I didn't see any humans in fancy red clothes.
okay, so Zamul passes this information
Or
along
fancy
to
clothes. I don't remember if they're red.
Princely.
Well, at least
Princely.
something good came out of that.
So,
Also, Grim learned a lesson. Also, it's probably going to bite him in the ass later.
Yeah, the guards of this city are all jerks. We should keep an eye out for them. Make sure that they don't follow us.
We should tread lightly. And I turn and walk.
You know, the guards don't like tieflings already.
The guards don't
Oh.
think like any of us.
Now that I'm hanging around with you, this is just great for me.
Happy to help, buddy. And I wink.
I used to be a royal guard myself. I would have done the same thing that she did.
Well, it sounds like you guards need to learn some tact in your training.
I say we move on before we cause another disturbance.
I'm already going.
Yeah.
okay. So y'all begin to continue wander dockward. After about 30 minutes of walking, you finally reach Fillet Lane. And you begin walking down Fillet Lane. And you've now have entered into the dock ward. You can hear in the distance seagulls cawing and the waves crashing against the water from the docks. So in the area that you're walking in, this is more shops, more trading district is in here. You see a lot of textiles and a lot of larger goods that are for trade here, and a few oddity shops as well. So,
What kind of oddity shop are we talking about here?
well, let's see. As you continue walk down the road, you cross Zastro Street while on Fillet Lane, and there's a shop with a peculiar window display. It has a deep purple facade, and its window hangs a stuffed beholder. Above the door hangs a sign whose elaborate letters spell out Old Zoblob Shop.
Zoblob.
Yep, Old Zoblob Shop. Almost said slop.
When you say a stuffed beholder, do you mean like taxidermy or do you mean like a toy?
A stuffed beholder. It's more or less a taxidermy.
Oh, it's taxidermy.
I want to buy that.
Wow. Okay.
How big is the beholder?
Small. It's not a big one.
Oh, baby beholder.
Like basketball sized?
It's hanging in a window,
Wow.
It's a beholder baby.
more or less.
That's adorable.
I'd like to find a shop that sells potions or daily wares.
Okay. Well, you see that shop there. What is the party doing?
I'll go in.
Okay, so right now Zamul just breaks away from y'all and begins to walk towards the
I'll
shop.
follow Zamul.
I tell Nephromax that I want to stop and look in the shop real quick.
You want me to keep watch?
It's entirely up to you.
Grim, it's probably best if you stayed outside.
Oh, I want to see the stuffed beholder too.
You can see it from the outside.
It's not the same as touching it.
I don't think
I'm
they'll
gonna
let
go.
you touch it.
I'll go inside with everybody else.
Okay.
Fine, I'll stay outside.
Oh,
I
feel
sit
like
down
someone-
outside.
I feel like someone should watch Grim.
I'm gonna sit down outside the door and just lean up against the wall.
Okay. As y'all begin to walk into the shop, a cloud of lavender-scented purple smoke trails out of the shop door as you peer inside. Every wall is painted purple, and every dusty knickknack on the shelves is dyed a deep violet. The hairless old gnome sitting cross-legged at the counter wears plum-colored robes. His cheeks are decorated with 9 purple face-painted eyes. The gnome lowers his pipe and exhales a cloud of lavender smoke before raising a hand. Hail and well met. Come browse the shelves of one of the most curiosity shops in the world.
I look at Nephrax and say, seems to be this is a man after your own heart.
I'm
I
surprised you
feel-
could even see him in there.
I feel quite at home here.
The gnome leans to the side and sees outside the door somebody sitting in front of his door and shouts, "Come in or move on."
I peer around the corner. What? You
Come
talking to me?
in or move on, Fortle.
But
Just-
they
Just come
and I
inside.
point to-
Come
I point to
inside.
The party told me not to come in.
Whose store is this?
Stop and think for a moment. Fair enough. I get up and happily walk on in.
Good.
So afraid he'd walk
Now
away.
spend money. So you walk into the shop, and everybody you'll see that there are trinkets of all kinds around this place. Well, with all the purple and trinkets everywhere, what's the party want to do?
I just wanted to look around. I want to see what neat stuff there is.
Okay. Roll a
yeah.
perception. Roll
I
a
wanna assist
perception
with that.
check.
I want to try and touch the beholder.
I rolled a 13.
You rolled a 13.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
assisting with that.
Matt's just like, I hate you.
All right.
Fucking get us kicked
20.
out.
All right, Zamul. You see various of oddities. You see let's see. You see a deed for a parcel of land in a realm unknown to you. A 1-ounce block made from an unknown material. A small cloth doll skewered with needles.
Ooh.
A tooth from an unknown beast. And an enormous scale. Maybe from a dragon.
Ooh.
Anybody else is looking?
I rolled a 20 for perception
You rolled a 20.
Natural or with your bonus?
with bonus.
All right, you see
Everything.
a petrified mouse, a black pirate flag adorned with a dragon skull and crossbone, a tiny mechanical crab or spider that moves about when it's not being observed, a glass jar containing lard with a label that reads Griffin Grease, a wooden box with a ceramic bottom that holds a living worm with a head on each end of its body, and a metal urn containing the ashes of a hero.
I want to look at the urn.
Okay, you pick up the metal urn and begin to look at it. It's an ornate urn made out of steel with what is that? With some pointillism art that's been tapped into the metal. It's really ornate, and there is a name that has been etched in fine lettering across the front. What languages do you speak?
Bottom left corner.
Common and Elvish.
Elvish?
Yes.
Okay, you see the name that's written on there. What are the odds of that? Sinfried the Great.
Do I know anything about Sinfried?
Roll a wisdom check with roll a history check. So wisdom plus your wisdom plus any modifier you have in history.
Hold on. That's a lot of adding.
How do you tell if you have anything in history?
It'll be in your center bar where all your
What did you want? History or what?
proficiencies
Oh,
are.
I see.
I said roll a wisdom check So, and then add your, if you have proficiency in history, add your history proficiency.
Okay, so 19.
19. You remember a story that you heard when you were really young of Sinfried. He was a elven ranger who had went out in many adventures and slain his greatest. The greatest foe that he had slain was a beholder at the time. So he was a hero who was known for slaying beholders.
Okay. I set the urn back down.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I want to pick up the dragon scale looking thing,
Okay.
and I want to show it to Abigail and be like, "Is this a friend of yours?"
Oh.
I didn't mean it in a mean way.
I'm going. Let me examine the scale. Can I do that?
Yeah, sure. You pick up and roll an investigation check on the scale.
Investigation.
Yeah.
It's a natural 14 and +1, 15.
Okay, you look at the scale and come to the conclusion that this is not a dragonborn scale, but a werven scale. A wyvern scale. My apologies for the pronunciation.
Either or.
It is a brownish, leathery-ish scale.
Ah.
I'm going to say no. Put it back.
I nod and put it back.
Already creating awkward moments.
I would like to take a close look at the beholder. And you said it was in the front window, right?
Okay, yeah, it's in the front window.
And are there any signs saying like "do not touch" or anything like that?
There is a small little sign in what languages do you read, or what languages do you know?
Common, Aquian, and Draconic.
This one you don't quite understand what is written there, but you let's see. Okay, you don't quite understand what's written there, so you're just gonna I'll let you choose what you want to do with that. You can't read the sign, but what do you want to do?
As far as you're concerned, there's no sign.
Well, no, this sign you just don't understand it. What do you want to do?
Out of respect to the kind eccentric gnome who invited me into his shop, I will turn and ask him, what does this sign say? And may I examine the beholder closer?
The gnome swiftly turns and looks at you and says, "The sign says do not touch. And no, you may not touch it.
How much for the beholder?
More gold than you will ever have in your lifetime."
I pick up the little voodoo doll. How much for this then?
3 gold.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I would like to pull out my sketchbook and just kind of begin sketching the beholder a little bit.
All right. You begin sketching. Zamul purchases a what was that?
Voodoo little doll. It was also
A
expensive.
small cloth doll with skewered with needles. So jot that into your inventory and reduce your gold count by 3.
Can I make a check on this? See if it's magical.
Do you? Okay.
I am
Should have
proficient in
done that
Arcana.
before you bought it.
I just liked it. I wanted it.
Okay. Roll a d20 and add your Arcana proficiency.
Fuck it, rolling. 8.
Looks like a cloth doll.
Neat.
You don't sense any magical essences from the doll.
Okay, I hang it on my belt.
Okay. Zamul now has a cloth doll hanging from his belt with a bunch of pins stuck in it.
Nice.
May I, after I finish sketching it, can I take a look around the shop to see if there's anything I might be interested in?
Roll a d20.
Perception?
Yeah.
10.
10. You see a mummified goblin hand, a piece of crystal that faintly glows in the moonlight, a gold coin minted in an unknown land, a diary written in a language you don't know, and a brass ring that never tarnishes.
I would like to check the price on the gem, the diary, and the ring.
All right. So the crystal?
Mhm.
The crystal is 3 gold. The diary is 4 gold. And the ring is 4 gold.
I have a question I want to interrupt real quick.
Okay.
I can see what he's looking at, right? I don't need to roll perception to see if I can see what's in his hand.
No.
Okay.
You can look at the same
Can
stuff.
I-
again.
Can I look at that diary and see if it seems to be magical in any way?
Sure. Grim, do you want to hand over the diary to...
I was actually about to head over to the shopkeep and ask him what language it was in, but if he would like to look at it real quick first, by all means.
Okay, so Grim slowly starts to turn and walk towards the shopkeep, but Nephrax, you grab his shoulder and say, "Hey, wait, can I see that right quick?" And he hands the diary over to you.
Do I recognize the languages?
What languages do you speak?
Abyssal, abyssal, deep, and infernal.
Nope. You do not
Okay,
recognize the text.
I'd like to check the diary to see if it's got any magical capabilities.
Okay, roll a d20 and add your Arcana.
I was gonna say why he's doing that. I want to talk to the clerk and be like, "What the hell is this?"
14.
You look at the diary and you don't sense anything magical coming from the diary.
Nothing you said?
Nothing.
Well, is it more curious than you expected?
I don't know what it says. I hand it
Alright.
back to him.
Okay, you hand the diary back to Grim. Zamul, you said you wanted to...
Ask the clerk what this doll was.
Um,
I just bought it randomly. I have no idea what that.
okay, so the shopkeep then leans over on his stool and looks at you and says, yes, I remember that doll well. You see, back in the day when I was traveling across all of the continent, I came across a young girl." And then he begins to go on a 10-minute tirade of a history that was absolutely pointless for this particular doll. And you are stuck listening to the old
I
man.
nod politely.
While each time you try to walk away, he scoots his stool, like holds onto it and hops the stool towards your vision as you try to turn, just to make sure he stays in front of you.
I
so he
stabbed
can
the doll.
continue.
I stabbed the doll repeatedly in the face with the needles.
It doesn't affect him. He continues to ignore and continues to tell the story
I wait
at this
patiently.
time. Grim, as you were walking up to the shopkeep, you notice Zamul had asked the question about his doll, and he had gone into his long tirade. What are you gonna do?
I still would like to ask him about the journal.
Okay, so you walk up to the shopkeep and stand there and listen as the
Can I
shopkeep.
ask him his name first?
Huh?
Interrupt him.
But before I ask him about the journal, can I go up and ask the shopkeep his name?
Yeah, you can ask him his name, but he's still in the middle of his tirade. So
Oh, well then I wait for him to finish his story.
Anybody else want
I-
to gather around?
Well, son of a bitch, I guess. While that's going on, maybe I can do an investigation, see if there's anything that I'd be interested in. I mean, I'm
Okay.
here, I might as well.
Okay. Roll a d20 and add your investigation. Eventually, he comes to an end for his story about the doll, and it was utter pointless. So, after Michael's roll, I'll be able to
20.
pick up. Michael, I gotta break that.
Abigail.
Take me a minute.
Abigail. That's
Abigail,
fine.
You see
Nothing.
Whole rack of ribs, gently smoked.
an ancient arrow of elven design, a needle that never bends, an ornate brooch of dwarven design, an empty wine bottle bearing a pretty label that says the Wizard of Wines Winery Red Dragon Crush 331422-W, and a mosaic tile with a multicolored glazed surface.
Cool. Nothing interesting. I'm.
Okay. Grim.
So once he finishes this story, I nod and say, "Wow, what an intricate story! I can't imagine how you remembered all that. What's your name?"
I am Zolab. It is old Zolab's shop.
I gather
He's
that
a
from the
gnome, right?
sign.
Or Zoblob, I'm sorry.
Zoblob.
He's a gnome, right?
Yeah, he's an old gnome.
ZOBLOB.
Z-O-B-L-O-B. Zoblob.
All right. Well, it is a pleasure to meet you, Zoblob. I'm Grim, and I kind of like nod slightly to him. I was wondering if you could tell me what language this journal is in, and I display it to him.
Ah, that right there is Celestial.
Noted. All right. Thank you. Do you have any information about what this journal is, or how you came to have it in your possession?
Oh
dear.
boy.
Oh!
I walk away.
Let me
listen
tell
in.
you about that journal. I will tell you exactly. I happen to be on another plane of existence in the Feywild. And then he goes on for a 30-minute tirade.
Can I take a short rest while he does that?
Just curl up and take a nap.
He's going to go.
If he's gonna talk for 30 minutes, I would have gone over to Abigail, patted her on the shoulder, and I've walked outside already.
So he is going to go into a 30-minute tirade about this journal and where he had found it and all the history behind it. It's absolutely pointless and nothing of interest in the story. It's just an old man completely blabbering on for 30 minutes.
Can I make an insight check to see if I can determine whether or not the story is real or not?
Roll an insight check.
Roll well, please. 17.
He is telling the exact truth about where he came across this book.
As far as he believes.
As far as he believes, yes.
Okay.
You read his face and look at it, and there is no tales of a twitch or deception or looking around. It is an old gnome recalling his travels across the world, picking up various pieces of crap.
During his entire lecture, Grim is actually writing notes about it and nodding and smiling and like deeply listening into it. He finds it riveting, this story behind the journal.
Grim is utterly fascinated with this story as Abigail as Granite is walking out the door. Abigail, he taps you on the shoulder and gestures towards the door and begins walking that direction.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not interested in curiosities. I want to go find a potion shop.
Okay.
So I'm going to follow Granite outside the door.
All right, so Abigail and Granite both begin walking out the shop's door. And during his lecture, while they begin to walk out the door, the old gnome says, "Thank you, come again," and then goes right back to his story.
Bloody bet on it.
Just saying, I'm going to join those two as well.
Okay. Nephmorax, as you are walking through the door, roll a perception check.
Actually roll. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I want you to roll a perception check.
My perception.
Roll a perception check.
Natural 20.
Woo!
I think that's the first one of the game.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, so as you're walking out the door to the front of the shop, one second. let's see. As you begin walking out the shop, you look over towards the stuffed beholder in the window, and you swear you saw a legitimate eyeball moving and looking around where that beholder's eye was as you continue walking past the door.
I stop when I see this.
Oh, you swear you saw an actual large eyeball of a legitimate eyeball where the beholder's eyeball was in large size as it was peering around. And then you turn to look back and it looks like a stuffed eyeball again.
I'm going to pull up my orb that I carry with me, and I'm going to whisper to my patron and see if I hear anything back.
Okay, so you are going to whisper to your patron. If this is out of earshot, is this something that you want to?
I would prefer none of the other party
okay.
members
Do you want to
hear
just
him
send it
whisper.
to me in a message, and I will send it back to you?
All right, hold on.
Secrets. Everybody's saying secret things while Grim is getting a story from an old gnome making up shit. And I overpaid for a stupid doll. That was probably worth 10 copper.
I would actually like to purchase the journal and the brass ring that never tarnishes.
Wait your
Okay.
turn.
Grim, you're wanting to purchase the brass ring and the journal?
Yes, which you said were 4 gold apiece, if I remember right.
Yes. So you will buy that in just a second.
Okay.
You have spent 80% of your advance.
Nephmarax, you whisper and you wait and you wait, but there's no response.
I proceed.
Okay. You continue walking through the door and out to the street. Zambul, what are you doing at this time? Everybody, most of your party's already out.
I'm waiting for Grim.
Okay.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
I don't trust you by yourself.
Okay, so after you wait, after everybody waits and then stand around 30 minutes for the old gnome to finish his story.
And I pocket the beholder. I'm just kidding. I cannot steal.
You go to purchase the journal and the ring. So go ahead and mark down in your inventory.
Sorry, Mark, what? You cut out for me.
He hasn't finished.
I haven't finished it.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and mark down in your inventory a ring that does not tarnish. And then Celestial Journal.
I will do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. What was the name of the shop again?
Oh, Zablob shop.
Zablob.
Zablob.
Old Zablob shop.
So while all this was going on, I'm outside kicking dirt around, talking to Abigail, and I explain that I understand how being different, standing out, could be difficult, as to where I end up getting a lot of attention drawn to myself as well, wherever I go.
Well, I appreciate that. It has been very odd so far, not seeing any other of my kin, my people.
Could be all of our spooky eyes.
Okay. So,
All right.
I was just making sure if anybody who had anything that they wanted to do or say or during that time frame they had.
I'm imagining they've already moved on to the next shop.
Okay, so Grim, you've made your purchases, and I'm assuming you begin to leave the shop now.
Yes.
Okay.
I thank Zoblob for the curiosities that he's given me, and I let him know that I will probably be back.
I look forward to your money, not you.
I look forward to your stories.
Thank you. Come again. And Zamul and Grim both exit the oddity shop finally and rejoin the group. What do y'all wish to do?
I wait for Nephromax to come out, and I tell him we probably need to make our way southward.
I tend to agree. I think it would be a good idea to go ahead and make haste towards the thing that I wrote down that I can't find. The skewer dragon.
Okay.
We'll do wait for the others to come out.
Did we come here to buy potions or just
Yeah.
look?
That was my intention, but it would turn into a disaster.
It ended up being an oddity shop of wonders for Grim
Right.
I got a neat doll.
and
I got,
Zamul.
I got an awesome
It-
book that I can't wait to get
Is there a potion shop around?
You turn and you look in the general vicinity for a potions dealer, and there is a store that's nearby that seems to sell herbal salves and medicine related kits. So if you wish to go to that store, you can.
I would like to pop in there.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want this
Alright.
trip to be pointless, so I might as well head over.
I'll follow.
All right. Well, you enter into a store that, upon stepping inside, it is a reminder of like fields of herbs and various salves. The smell is overwhelming. It's you can definitely tell that this is a place that sells some sort of healing related herbs and maybe a few spices as well, just for the kick of it. So you see a middle-aged woman with brown hair that comes down to about shoulder length, a plain brown dress with a white apron over it as she is tending to a mortar and pestle grinding. And
Okay.
I'll approach.
enter the shop, and she goes, "Thank you. Come in."
All right, I'll ask her how much some of her healing salves are, and
All right. Give me 1 second to pull this stuff up. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Rod. Sorry about this. This is just going to take me a minute to. I got to look up the costs on this stuff.
Okay.
What was he asking the cost for? Potions or just an herbalism kit?
He was asking for a potion.
Potion, a regular potion is 50 gold.
What about the kit?
There it is, finally.
Or 50 to 100 gold, I should say, depending on which you want to.
It's 50 gold for a potion of healing, and
Healer's kit is 5 gold.
When she's ready, I'm going to purchase one of the kits.
okay. She turns and she finishes her grinding. She said, "What can I help you with?"
I explained to her I'd like to purchase a healing kit.
Okay. Then a healing kit is going to be 5 gold pieces. Now, do you understand or know how to use a healing kit?
That's a tool you need to be proficient with.
Mhm.
Which I don't think you are.
I'll purchase it anyway.
Okay. She goes, "Okay, 5 gold, please."
So-
Shockingly, I don't know how to use this either.
What do you have to be proficient with? to use
Healing
the
kit.
Yeah, you got to be proficient with the kit.
It's it'd be in your tools,
Oh, okay.
bottom
Right.
left corner.
So, you purchase. Okay, so add into your inventory a healer's kit, and mark off 5 gold. Can I help anybody else?
Nope.
I have a quick question for the DM.
Okay.
How far is Okay, different question. Sorry. The charm person spell.
Yeah.
Does that make me influence the person? Like, if I use charm person on somebody, do I then have command of the person, or no?
What happens is, okay, so it says it treats regards you as a friendly acquaintance. So it's not that you have control over them, but more or less that you are their best friend, more or less. That they will do anything for you. And if you tell them that you're in danger because of somebody else, then they will assist you in that regard, even if it means that if they've got to attack somebody, they will. And that spell stays in effect until you or your companions do any harm to that, or they make their wisdom saving throw, or an hour passes.
Or 1 hour.
Yeah.
How far is that previous shop from here?
It's outside the range of the charm person spell. You'd have to
No, but I mean physically speaking, like is it
physically you
two-
walked
is
about
it 2
200
blocks away?
You walked about 200 feet down the road. So yeah.
I'm gonna, while they're doing their stuff, I'm gonna head back to the previous shop.
Okay.
I have nothing else to do here.
All right. So
Neither do I.
okay, so while y'all are in there purchasing the healer's kit and looking for that, Nephromax goes back to the
Zoblob.
the Zoblob shop, and you enter.
Are there any other patrons in here besides myself?
There's one person, but they're in the back of the store.
Okay, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna kind of browse around the shelves until either the person leaves or the person goes to the front of the shop, and I'm gonna try to go to the back of the shop.
Okay. It doesn't take long. The person in the back of the shop, they're just they're browsing and perusing just like you are, and they turn and go towards the front of the shop, towards the shopkeeper. So you have the opportunity to go to the back of the store.
Okay. While in the back of the store, I am going to attempt to cast Charm Person on Zablob.
Okay. All right. I need you to roll your roll a d20 and add your spellcasting modifier to it. I believe is what you do.
Where is spellcasting modifier?
It's 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus whatever your spellcasting ability is, which I think is charisma.
8 plus proficiency plus charisma
Yeah, plus your charisma bonus.
plus the d20. Holy shit.
Hold on one second.
Where do you get the 8 from?
That's just the standard rule.
Hold on. Let me look.
Yeah.
Before we get too crazy here, let me take a look at
Oh wait, did you say
wait.
spell attack modifier?
I'm thinking DC. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
mine's plus
I have a
3.
thing that says spell attack modifier. Okay.
That's what you add to the D20. I'm thinking of your DC, your difficulty class for a spell to be saved
Gotcha.
against. My bad.
Gotcha.
alright, where is your
I unfortunately don't have any of those things on my character sheet, so I couldn't tell you where they are.
Yeah. If you click on spells for him, it's
It's top center, yeah.
you got a modifier, a spell attack, and your save.
Did you Oh, I'm looking at Zamul. No wonder I couldn't find it. I was gonna ask you, I was like, do you have Charm Person prepared today? Yes, you do.
I do.
Okay, so all right. So okay, you I gotta do a wisdom save on it. So that's what I gotta roll a wisdom save. I'm sorry. You don't have to roll a d20.
I don't have to roll anything.
No, you just so what you do in the back of the store,
I whisper into my orb and attempt to charm him.
okay, so
The gnome or the other patron?
The gnome, the Zablob himself.
What did you say he looked like again, Daniel? When you get a chance.
okay, so Zablob. Woo. I don't have this stuff memorized, so please forgive me, people. All right. He is a old gnome wearing purple robes and has 9 purple painted eyes across his face. He's actually a hairless old gnome and wears plum-colored robes. His cheeks are decorated with 9 purple face-painted eyes. And he is smoking a pipe. All right, so you cast Charm Person. And okay. All right. You begin to cast charm in the back of the store. You begin to use your orb and begin to slowly chant your incantation for the spell effect, and you see the gnome's eyes slowly start to kind of glaze, but he sits upright, snaps up, and looks towards the back of the store and sees you back there and begins to stare you down. you get the feeling that your spell failed. And the gnome is now staring at you intently.
Quick, steal something.
No, it did not work. Okay. I will casually pretend like nothing happened and exit the store.
As you walk out the store, you hear the gnome. What languages do you speak again?
Abyssal, infernal, and deep.
Okay, you begin to hear the gnome mutter in a language you don't understand, and as you walk out the door, once again, roll a perception.
We're gonna be picking up pieces of Nephrax on the street.
You guys thought I was gonna cause trouble in there.
Perception.
Yeah.
17.
17. Okay.
Not bad.
Once again, you see this time. You see an eyeball again watching you from the beholder, and this time it is intently staring you down. And you hear the gnome continue to speak in a language that you don't understand. And the eyeball just continues to snap and watch you as you walk away.
Okay.
Never gonna be able to go in that store again.
Well, I'm not at least.
Guys, that's the only store I like. Come on.
All right, I'm gonna head back over to the store they were at.
Okay, so in the time that it took you to do that, they had bought their kits and they had walked out. You guys, you walk out of the store, but you don't see Nephromax in the immediate area, but in the distance, coming from the other shop, walking towards y'all.
You forget something over there?
Or did you
I
go
thought
and buy something?
I thought I saw something of interest. Turns out I was mistaken.
How disappointing.
Great.
Indeed.
We should move on. We wasted a lot of time.
I agree.
All right.
He's been missing for 2 days. How much longer does it's not that bad.
Time's not on our side.
Time's never on your side.
That's because I live a normal humanoid age.
I was gonna say a very grim look comes over Grim's face, very dark. His eyes kind of look down, and you can just see this wave of heavy kind of hit his body.
Okay. So do y'all begin the trek to the Skewered Dragon?
Unless
Yes.
anyone has anything they want to do.
So
I want to go back to Zabla.
We all walk away from Grim.
Everybody-
Guys, I'll catch up.
Everybody begins to now take the path all the way down to Net Street, where the Skewered Dragon is sitting on the court. It isn't too terribly far from old Zoblob's shop. When you get, as you approach it, the Skewered Dragon looks like a ruin. Both its front-facing windows are smashed, and a ship's anchor is lodged in its roof. Through the windows, you can see a group of haggard patrons drinking from huge tankards.
Wow. Looks like someone didn't stop the brawl that happened in here, huh?
Charming. We'll make our way into the bar.
Okay. Y'all walk in, and you see a number of dock workers in there drinking their sorrows away from a long day's worth of labor. Even though it's only probably about noon at the moment, they're still wistfully and very much trying to drink their problems away. You see a barkeep, old humanoid barkeep, seems to be missing one eye, has a large gash down his face, and he looks at you with his good eye as you walk in, and just begins to stare and wait while he's polishing a glass.
gonna let one of you take the lead. I know this may come as a surprise, but I'm not much of a people person.
I'll approach the bar.
Okay. What can I do for ya?
I'd like to purchase an ale.
That'd be 2 copper for an ale. And then he goes.
Make
And
the-
he turns his back and he grabs another tankard from the bottom and he begins to fill it with just the standard ale that's on tap at the bar. And turns around, drops the tankard in front of you, grabs the copper and puts it in his ramshackle till for the bar. Anything else?
I began to make conversation and asking him about. I described Volo and then Volo's. What was it? Flume, his
Flume.
buddy, and asked him if he remembers seeing him in the bar recently.
I remember seeing them, but the guys over there, and he points to the dockhands that are at the table, they probably know much more about it than me. They were gambling with him that night.
Okay.
And he points to the guys at the table with the dockhands who are drinking there.
I throw him an extra copper and I thank him for his time.
Thank ya. He takes a bite out of the copper and then sticks it in his pocket.
Cliche, I like it.
The copper's that soft.
He puts a
I'll
dent
make
in
my way to the other dockhands.
He's got big wooden teeth. Okay, so you make your way over to the dockhands. What is everybody else doing?
I'm gonna be right there with Granite.
Okay, Abigail's following Granite.
I'm gonna ask. Yeah, I want to ask them about Floon.
Everybody else following suit, or
I don't want to crowd. I'm gonna find a table close by where I'm earshot, and I'm just gonna have a seat.
okay, Zamul sits at a table that's maybe 1 or 2 tables away, just close enough to where you can overhear the conversation.
I stick with Zamul.
Okay, Grim sits with Zamul.
I'm gonna stay with Granite.
Okay, so Abigail, Granite, and Nephromax approach the dockhands, and the dockhands there are swilling down their ale as if the day is long, or as the day is long, and they look up at you, Granite, because you've just come over into their space and are invading their drinking.
I set the ale on the table and push it towards one of them, the one on the right.
Okay, the one on the right turns and looks, and he goes, "Aye, mighty fine. What can I do for you?"
And then I begin to explain that we're looking for Volo, what he looks like, and or we were
Floon, you
asking
mean, right?
if they remember seeing Volo and Floon in there, and if they happen to know what happened to Floon afterwards.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage. Because you gave him ale.
18.
All right. The dock worker turns to and looks at you, and he goes, "I remember the fools coming here, shouting big words, throwing money around like they owned the place. So we had a friendly little game. We gambled for a while, and that Floon fellow that you're talking about, he did okay. He wasn't doing terrible. But after our gambling was done, we sat there and we drank for a while. And the other one, the guy with the freely book man with the clothes, and after he left, another guy came up to Floon while we were drinking. Rainier Never Member. Never Ember. Apologies. Never Ember. Never Ember.
What was the first name?
Rainier. Renaer.
Reanar.
Renaer.
Renaer. Gotcha.
Rainier Never Ember, the son of Waterdeep's previous open lord Dagolt. Never Ember. And then another one of the other patrons sitting there sneers and goes, "Ha! Chip off the old block, that one." And sneers. Just a spoiled rich noble who likes to rub our noses in it. They go on to tell you that they continued through the night playing Three Dragon Ante before leaving around midnight. And as they walked out the door, a table of 5 men stood up and began to slowly walk after them as they walked out the door.
So the gamblers left at midnight, or Floon and Rainier?
Floon and Rainier left at midnight, and at around midnight, and when they walked out the door, a table of 5 men stood up and began to follow them outside the tavern. And the guy and the dockhands there at the table say, after that, we haven't seen old Floon or Volo or Rainier since at that point. They haven't coming back, nor have we seen those other 5 guys that followed them outside the door.
Can
Can I tell if they're telling the truth?
Make an insight check.
15.
You look at their faces and they seem to be in a drunken state, but more or less telling the truth. No real deception look behind their face.
What did the 5 guys look like? Can you describe it?
They had hoods up, but if they're the ones that we were sure, we've seen them before. They like to frequent a warehouse. He's slowly devolving into a Spanish accent.
Gracias, amigo.
They like to frequent a warehouse that's over on Candle Lane. If you look for on the door, there is a snake shape. What do you call it? A serpent, or it's a serpent or a snake symbol on the door. That's where they tend to frequent.
What is in this warehouse? Do you know?
Hell if I know. I just work the docks. I don't go to there. I don't want to get myself killed.
Do the people that frequent the warehouse, are they part of a gang or a guild, perchance?
More than likely, they all dressed the same.
What?
It's kind of a running theme in this town.
I see.
Everybody has their own thing. I tend to stay away from it. Just drink my ale and work the docks.
So I'll give them each enough copper to buy another round for themselves. And I'll turn to the group and I'll tell them this is probably what we're looking for.
Okay.
Nodding my head.
mark off 4 copper. And
Granite,
Yes.
do you think that we should? I'm curious on your opinion here. Do you think we should check in with the previous lord to see if he has seen his son since last night?
What was the Lord? What was his name? Lord.
Lord
Never
Neverember?
Their
Yeah.
goat.
Yeah, the Rainier's father, who was the previous lord of this place. Rather than just like heading, beelining straight to this warehouse, kicking down the door and going, "Where's this dude?"
I mean, we could scout the warehouse.
True.
I had no intentions of just driving through. I was just going to
Well,
scout and then offer the same idea that maybe we should find the Lord and ask questions. Anybody opposed?
No, not at all.
I had the same idea as Nephrax.
Okay.
all right. So, what is the group's plan of action?
Sounded like we were going to make our way towards Candle Lane to identify the warehouse from a distance.
One with the serpent symbol.
agreed.
Okay.
Before Grim leaves the tavern, he asks the dock workers if they would happen to know where Lord Neverember would reside to be contacted.
Well, 1 second. I am a little old.
I just imagine Nephrax being like, "Where's this dude?"
Let's see here.
Grab him by the.
I
grab
imagine
him by
everyone
the-
else is walking out already.
Where is he?
Where is he?
I will find you, and I will kill you.
Rachel.
I will find you and I'll roll really terribly and probably get myself hurt.
All right. Okay.
Bless you. This poor guy. Should probably stop smoking.
Yeah, the dock workers continue to cough and wheeze. They've taken in far too much tobacco. You see their teeth are grisly and falling out of their face, coughing. But one of the dock workers say, you could probably find him at the castle ward. I don't know where, but somewhere in the castle ward.
Got it. I nod to them, thank them kindly, and carry on after the group.
Okie dokie. All right, so y'all are now heading towards Candle Lane, but you're going to scope things out at a distance.
What time of day is it getting to be?
At this point, it's probably 2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Spending an hour in Zoblobs.
Yeah. I'd like to investigate around Candle Lane to see if I can locate a warehouse-sized building, and if I can see what the door may look like.
Okay, so you begin to wander out towards the direction that you were given for Candle Lane, and it doesn't take you long. It's a 15-minute walk from where you're at. You get towards Candle Lane, and there are buildings on each side of Candle Lane that are so tall and so tightly packed together that light only reaches pretty much the street down there at sun high. So it's very, very dark, and gloom envelops the narrow alleys as dark as a dungeon. As odorous as one too. Nearly all the street lamps have been smashed. The only light that pierces the darkness is a faint flickering from down the lane, like a distant candle.
I'm gonna attack it.
Yeah. Pull out a torch and attack the darkness.
We said
Hey.
it. Moving on.
Okay, so you are going to look for a warehouse. Roll an investigation check
Roll assist.
with advantage, or
With
you can roll.
advantage?
You can either
I'll
roll.
roll one
you roll
too.
separate.
I'll
No,
roll
we'll roll one too. Okay.
Okay, so each of you roll an investigation check.
10.
Nephrax,
10.
10,
2.
2. For the better part of 15 to 20 minutes, you both continually walk up and down Candle Lane, looking for a symbol on a door, at which you swear you heard him say a pig. And you cruise by the serpent door multiple times until eventually Abigail, roll a d20.
Roll a what?
Roll a d20.
Natural 17.
Okay. Until eventually Abigail goes, "Have you found the serpent door yet?" And then sheepishly you both stop and then realize that you've been looking for a pig door for some reason. Who
Yes.
knows why? But you immediately walk over towards the serpent-esque door, and you've located the serpent door for where you were looking for. And now I want everybody to roll an intelligence check.
I'm bad at these. I'm bad at all.
Straight
rolls.
intelligence?
Straight intelligence.
I only have gay intelligence.
I'm sorry. Did you say gay intelligence?
I did.
Yes, happy intelligence.
Okay.
Oh, holy- natural 20 for me.
All right.
Nice.
11.
7.
17.
9.
Zamul.
11.
Whew. Okay. Zamul, Abigail, and Granite.
All eat dirt.
Specifically, Abigail says, "Hey, I remember this symbol. I recognize this now. While you knuckleheads while you idiots were looking at the bloodshed in the street, Abigail, you had turned and saw on one of the necks of the Zentarim the same snake emblem tattooed onto their neck. So you recognize that this symbol on the door is part or belongs to the Zentarim.
Interim.
And
Side here.
and
This is good news.
Let me see here. Oh, wrong. I need to. What's everybody's passive perception?
13.
13.
hold on,
12.
where's-
All right.
Attack. This is good news, though. Everybody
Where's
cheer up.
passive perception?
It's middle
Far
left
left.
box.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, 12 for me.
Okay. You see a light slightly flicker inside the building for half a second. Those of you who are 12 and up.
It's everybody's.
All
Probably
right.
not Cody.
Excuse you. Mine is 12.
Okay. I don't know. The way you complained about your rolls, I assumed you had a 10.
So, what do y'all do?
Kick in the door. No, I'm not.
Could I?
No.
Could I take a?
Stop Zamul from doing that.
Listen. This is good news though, because we know they have taken a great loss recently. So there's probably significantly less than there would be yesterday.
You said the light kind of moved from under the door.
No, you just see through the window. There's a light flicker.
Is it a clear window or like a frosted window?
It's a dark window, and there from the inside you happen to see like a light flicker against a wall.
How high up is the window? Can we look through it?
It's ground level. If you want to go and look through the window, you can.
I would like to carefully look through the window.
I'm gonna step
Stealthily,
back.
as one might say.
Okie dokie.
I want nothing to do with stealth. I'm stepping back.
All right. So as you approach, the warehouse stands at the back of an outer yard behind a high fence. The gate on the fence isn't locked, and the building's has 3 points of entry that you've noticed as you were walking in. The front door has a sliding peephole that can be opened from the inside, and you see the window off to the side. So you're wanting. So go ahead and.
So we're a ways away from the building.
Well, you
Outside
are
of a
close.
gate?
You're walking down the alley, and then there is a gate that is sectioned off where a yard, and then there's a window, and then there's a large door, and then there's a smaller door.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like a window that was right next to us. It was behind a fence.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the fence is unlocked.
That's unlocked.
That fence is totally trapped.
All right. So is this blueprint that you have laid out for us essentially the warehouse here?
I don't have a blueprint up yet. We're not using that yet. I will
You
tell
see
you when we
nothing.
use that. But that is essentially what the map is going to look like. So
Good to know. Good to know. See, I didn't know what the layout was. Well then, yeah, if I can, I would like to get close to the window and like outside the fence and scale the fence over it or try to look through the window through the fence, one of those two. To where I'm not like going through the gate.
They're gonna
And
climb the
reaching-
fence.
you're going to climb
Well,
the fence. Okay.
I
So you're
don't wanna
climbing the fence.
breach-
Well, okay, what do you want to do then?
I don't want to breach the perimeter exactly. I want to get as close to the window as I can and try to look through. And if I'm not close enough to do that, then I'll climb the fence to get over and try and look through.
Okay, you're going to be about 10 feet away from the window from the other side of the fence.
Okay.
And you're going to looking in through the window, roll a perception check.
Yeah, looking in through the window from outside the fence.
We look like a bunch
Well-
of fucking criminals.
Roll a perception check.
That is 13.
Okay, you look into the window, and from at this distance, all you can really see are stacked boxes on the interior. Nothing. It's dark, and you're only catching the outlines of boxes.
Okay. Is anyone else around aside from the party?
It's just y'all.
I quietly let them know, whether that means walking back to them or whatever. Keep an eye out. I'm going to try and get a closer look, and then I'll go back to that fence, climb it, and go over.
Okay. So you're gonna go and try and climb the fence now.
Yes.
Oh boy.
All right, roll an athletics check.
Acrobatics?
Athletics.
Athletics.
You ain't flipping over the fence. You're climbing it.
6.
I legit thought you were gonna 6.
6.
Yeah, I rolled a 3.
All right. Well, you guys seem to watch as Grim begins to try to climb over a wrought iron fence, and his large portal hands can't quite get in between the bars to give him purchase to climb up the fence.
Mild
So
shock.
you can't climb the fence.
Okay, let me
Don't give me a
talk to Granite and them. Do you think this is a good idea? I mean, we have to find Floon and now Raynar. What would you suggest?
Well,
How about that?
we
I
assume
pat
we're
Grim on the back and I tell him I appreciate his enthusiasm, but we probably need to try to search out the Lord first and ask questions before we start breaking in somebody's property.
I suppose you're right. I mean, they left the door open. It's not breaking if we're only looking in.
It's inviting, but we also need to tread lightly.
Remember,
These are, you have to keep in mind, Grim, these are people that are not afraid of bloodshed out in the middle of the open.
I've been around plenty of death. I'm not afraid either.
Though we are capable of doing such as ourselves, it's not something I wish to do without being antagonized.
So,
to the investigation.
do you think my? Sorry, I'm still new to the whole D&D.
No worries.
Do you think my divine sense would be useful here?
Hold on one second. Oops, wrong thing. Let's see.
What does Divine Sense do?
As it says, as an action, you can detect good and evil. Until the end of your turn, you can sense anything affected by the hollow spell or know the location of any celestial, fiend, undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
I don't
Alright.
think so, because usually bandits are neither good nor evil.
Yeah, all right.
Because
Yeah,
evil
that's-
is usually like demons, shit like
Also-
that.
Yeah, that is more or less where that spell would come in handy on. If you're
Okay.
trying to find people, that's not really going to work out for people
that
or
makes
bandits or stuff. Just like Matt said. So yeah.
Plus, if
As
they're in
we
the
know
building,
of
they have
right
total
now.
cover.
Yeah.
Nobody's revealed himself to be anything other than common thugs so far.
Can I take a quick bio break?
We'll take a quick break right here, and we'll be right back. Okay, folks, and we're back. Sorry about that. Had to take a short break, and we are back, and the group is still at Candle Lane looking at the warehouse that they have identified as a Zentarim warehouse. And they're debating on what they're going to do.
I think we're gonna head toward Castle Ward, right, guys? See if we can search out Lord Neverember.
I would prefer that.
Okay.
I would
Sounds good to
like-
me.
Basically, I would like to know whether his son is either missing or maybe he knows that his son is part of this gang. Because that would definitely change how we react to this person when we find him.
This is true.
Okay. So y'all are leaving the vicinity
Yes.
and heading towards Castle Ward. Alrighty. After a good 40-minute walk back from the dock ward, y'all begin to breach into the Castle Ward area. And in this section of the town, it's a lot nicer. There are more luxury styled homes, larger castle-esque places. This is a place that you could say that this is where the nobles of the city live. And as you begin walking into the castle ward and you make your way in there, you notice that the city ward is a lot thicker here. There's a lot more. And suddenly, as you're walking down the road, you kind of notice that there are 3 city ward following you at the moment.
You're talking about guards, right?
Yep. City guard. There's 3 of them. They're following your group as you make your way into the city ward.
Hey, Grim.
Yes.
Are you both named Grim?
No,
What?
Oh.
Your name's Grim too?
Ha, when did this happen?
there was a sound blip. I thought it was me.
No, sorry. I think your previous antics are going to cause us some problems here. We seem to be being followed.
Well,
Yeah, I'm gonna. Before anything escalates, I'm gonna stop and ask the guards if there's any problems.
Okay, so Abigail, you stop and turn, and you begin walking back towards the guards. The guards instinctually move their hands over towards their blades, and they continue to walk forwards, and they meet you, and then put their hand up onto your chest and start pushing you back towards the group, saying, "Back up, back up, back up." What do you do?
No respect for a dragonborn.
Seriously, I'm gonna back up.
Okay, so you back to the group, and the guards now begin addressing you as a group as a whole, and they turn and look, and they turn and look towards Grim, and they go, "Okay, so you must be the turtle causing problems, and you must be the motley group with him. What are you doing in the castle ward?"
I put a hand on Grim before you can say anything. A restraining hand.
what kind of problems have I been causing you fellows?
We've heard from our compatriots down towards the dock sides that you've been smarting off to the law, causing problems, getting in our way. We don't appreciate it. Get out of the castle ward.
All right,
Damn
I
it.
would happily leave, but I, would appreciate a little bit of respect in return. You fellows don't seem to. care about any of your
Respect is
citizens.
earned, not given. You've done nothing. In the entire time from what I've heard, you've assaulted a child when you got here. Yes, we've heard that too. And you've shown no respect for the law. And you kind of get the idea that all y'all's antics now have spread throughout the city, and y'all are a group to be watched heavily. So the castle ward guards, or the city ward, turns and says, "Get out of the castle ward. I'm not going to tell you again."
If we leave, would you then go tell Lord Neverember that you refuse to let us in regards to his son?
What business do you have with the old lord?
We were tasked with helping find his son and a friend of his who have gone missing.
His son? I haven't heard anything about his son missing. There hasn't been any notification for his son. What are you doing? Is that all?
We were just here to seek out Lord Neverember.
You don't get an audience with the old lord. Out. And you get the feeling that he's not going to work with you.
Fair enough.
I can feel the hair on my neck standing up right now. I turn and walk away.
Okay. So, Granite turns and begins to walk out of the castle ward. And the guards turn and stand off to the side to give you a path to where you can follow Granite.
Do the guards don't have badges or anything with their names on it by any chance, do they?
Sweet Jesus, I just push Grim.
No,
I push him. I just push him.
They wear the traditional city ward armor.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. Without a word, I
It's-
just keep walking and following Granite.
Okay, and behind you, Zamul is just pushing on your shell, pushing you along the road.
Well, if you don't stop pushing me around, I'm going to clock you one too.
I am much stronger.
I'm much quicker.
I don't care what you are. Get the fuck out of the castle ward.
No one asked you. Keep walking.
Up.
I walk past Grim.
The castle guard, or the city ward looks at you and says, "Another word, and I throw you in the stockade."
I just keep walking.
Okay.
I'm strictly ignoring them.
Okay.
I was walking past them, and he confronted me again, and I just keep walking.
Oh my god. It is so hot right now. I am so pissed off.
Okay, so in the distance, you see Granite. Granite is walking with a fevered pace out of the castle ward. He doesn't. He looks frustrated beyond frustrated at the moment. And as y'all begin, I'm guessing y'all are proceeding out of the castle ward now.
I don't think we have a choice.
Okay. So y'all begin to make your way back towards the dock sides or the dock ward, I should say, as where your adventure began. And once you get outside of the castle ward area, you see the guards are kind of been following you to make sure that you leave. And now they're stationed kind of across the street just to watch you. They haven't left. They're not completely leaving the castle ward. But they're hanging back and they're staying as long as they see you in this instance near where you are at, where you had walked into the castle ward. They're staying there, just watching. They're like 80, 90 feet away.
Super. Anybody else have a good plan?
I'll go to Nephromax and if this persists, I will not be able to contain my anger.
That's fair.
And I'm looking for some sort of reassurance that we're going to have a different idea how we're going to do this before I take it upon myself.
Hmm.
I'm thinking. Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking.
Same here. I'm like, hold on.
The group is y'all all cluster around and it's at a quiet standstill because with some failed navigation of some earlier checks with the City Watch earlier, you take note that it's probably going to be difficult to get into the castle ward now. That the City Watch is definitely going to be watching you. And you remember that Volo the quest that you're on, Volo is wanting you to find Floon. And that's all that Volo cares about is Floon. And that's the last that they had seen is that a group that had frequented the Candle Street warehouse had followed Floon and his previous compatriot out the door. So you reflect upon that information shortly.
Perhaps maybe we should let Volo know the leads that we have, in case perhaps he needs to do some searching on his own to assist us. Maybe he'd be able to get into the castle ward while we go and check out the warehouse on Candle Lane.
That's actually a really good idea.
And I mean, we could always just knock on the door and ask them.
I'm sorry?
We could always just knock on the door and ask them.
At the warehouse?
I mean, we're going to knock on the door one way or the other.
I don't know that I had particularly anticipated knocking on the door, per se.
I mean, we could stand outside and hope we find information inside.
That was not my idea either. There's more than one way to get into a warehouse than knocking on the front door.
Not for my big ass.
How big are you?
7'6".
7'6"?
Yeah.
Well, it's not like I was going to ask you to like crawl through a mouse hole either.
I mean, I have disadvantage on stealth rolls.
I think the current suggestion that Grim had of notifying Volo of our current information and asking him to perhaps head into the castle ward and talk to the old lord may be a decent idea, at which point we can just immediately go from there to the warehouse and let him deal with that part. You know, we don't have to wait for his response.
Okay.
If you'd like, I could even head and stake out the warehouse, just in case anything changes while you guys are gone. I won't act. I'll just wait, document, and inform once you guys get there.
Splitting the party is probably not a great idea.
Yeah, let's not do that. I appreciate the offer, but should they be upset with seeing you nearby, or should the city guard happen to wander by again, that would not bode well for you. So I think it would be best at the moment for us to just all go back to the yawning portal, inform Volo, and then once we've done that, proceed back to the warehouse as a group.
I'll agree with that. Before I act rash.
Alright.
Dragon Lady, I forget your name.
While you guys were all doing that, I'm already in the yawning portal talking to him now. No, I agree. I agree.
Abigail, you see Abigail,
Thank you.
Abigail walking away already and swinging her arm back like, yep, come on, let's go.
Okay, we're at the Yawning Portal now.
I mean, we've already made enough
Assuming
trouble
we made
as
it without
is.
incident.
Let's just go.
You return, y'all return to the Yawning Portal, and you walk in, and you see Volo is still sitting at the bar. You would guess maybe 3 tankards in for since the last time that y'all had saw him. He's
Oh, good.
he's a slow drinker. But he sees your group enter, and he comes waddling over and to the group. And he says, "Oh, you got." Hold on, I forgot my Volo voice. He goes, hey, so okay, so do you have any
There it is.
do you have any new information?
We do, actually.
Sound
Yeah, let's
Okay,
tell Volo what we've learned.
please tell me. Tell me.
Apparently, he was seen leaving the Skewered Dragon with Renair Neverember, the son of the son of the Old Lord,
The Old Lord's son? Oh, that's
Yes.
strange.
and they were followed by what appears to be a group of Zentarum gang members.
So the Zentarum has him then?
possibly.
We're we're not 100% sure at the moment. However,
Do you know where they went?
yes, but calm
Well,
down.
No, we don't know
We've-
where they went. We assume we know.
Okay, fair. He doesn't need to know this. We were hoping you could assist in something. We've had trouble getting into the castle district to try to meet with the Old Lord. And we were hoping you might be able to check with him and see if his son is either gone missing or possibly maybe unfortunately involved with this Zentarum group.
Huh.
Is that
Well,
something you could help us with?
I could definitely go and I can definitely go and talk to the Old Lord, but the Old Lord and his son they don't quite get along anymore.
We're not interested
They're-
in
they're-
getting along. They're
They're,
interested in finding him. We're interested in what we can help with that.
I tell you what, I'll go talk to the Old Lord. But I don't think you're going to like what he says in response, because they haven't been on speaking terms in years. So I'll go ask him.
Well, Granite, that seems to doesn't necessarily confirm, but it seems to point in a certain direction.
It's better than nothing.
Yes. Well, do you guys want to head back to the warehouse now?
I don't see any other options.
So we should let Volo know if we're going to go to this particular warehouse so he knows where to find us. Either that or we wait for him to return here. These are kind of our limited options.
I think
Well-
we'll notify him of where we'll be. That's my opinion.
If we don't return, it's because we're dead in this warehouse. But
True.
If we survive, we'll meet him back here at the bar.
Good plan.
And Volo looks at y'all and says, "Oh, okay. I'll meet y'all back here. Y'all are going to the warehouse that's on Candle Lane
With the snake door.
with the snake door. I am going to run up into Castletown and talk to the Old Lord.
Great.
We'll meet back here.
Sounds good.
Okay?" And Volo,
And then,
Volo begins to walk out towards the door.
all right, if you guys have nowhere else to be at the moment, I suggest we head back towards the warehouse.
I'm gonna go back to Zoblobs. No, I'm just kidding.
He's the
Pick up
only
that
one
dragon
who
scale.
who's appreciated me so far. I'm gonna go there too.
I'm gonna follow them group to the warehouse.
I think he just appreciated our easy coin.
Yeah.
Okay?
Appreciated you because you bought something.
Alrighty. Well, y'all make your way back down through the dockside, back out towards the warehouse for Candle Lane, back to the mysterious-looking warehouse where you had seen or had heard that this is where the group of 5 men who had followed Floon and Rainier usually frequent. So, at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and leave off here for the week. And next time, we will pick up with y'all right outside the warehouse. And we will see what occurs then.
Great.
All
So,
right.
we will see y'all
Sounds
all
good.
next time on Attacking the Darkness. Goodbye, everyone.